Well, I'm going to try this. I'm going to see if I can get this to work. And I'm just closing windows and shutting things down. And I went in a bigger browser actually to see because I was about some things and I wanted to. It looks like I've got a few people are coming back on. Let me just. Hi, guys. you know, so here we go. So I am also, you guys are going to laugh at me. I'm also thinking about the new city. I want to live in a new city. I'm kind of done. So, okay. But what I want to come back to the idea of where I left off. Melissa, good to see you. All right. Okay, I'm going to tell my funny Aquarian story now. Okay, so I have a critique group, and in my critique group, and I always have one wherever I've lived in the world. I've had one, and what that is it's 3 writers, 4 writers, 4 of us get together, and we read each other's work and we kind of give feedback and thoughts. And I love doing that because it's the best way to really tap into your world and to other writers, because I think that if you're a writer, you need to be around writers. It's kind of like plumbers hang out with plumbers. You just learn from different people. And I have a really good group right now. And when I first moved here, Grace was part of my critique group, and she's still a very good friend. She just writes a different kind of stuff, and her mode is different, but we're very good friends. And she's much younger than me, right? So she's like, she's like I would be like her aunt or her mom, so to speak, age-wise, right? But one day I was getting ready to head to Europe. I guess about, I want to say, a year and a half now. This is a gal who's never left the United States. Okay, she's from Ohio. She moved down here. She hasn't really traveled. And I was looking at some stuff, and I was just doing this, oh yay, Christopher, good to see you. I see you in NM. What is that? Or Idaho? Okay. I don't know what that means, Natty. Sorry about that, but okay. So, oh yeah, Colorado. Okay, yeah. You know what? I tell you why I can't go to Colorado. I think that Colorado right now has, because of Saturn in Capricorn, I think it's a really rough time, because somebody corrected me and said that Colorado, the moon sign of Colorado is Capricorn, and I'm a moon Capricorn. So you would think, woo, but that would put Capricorn not only on my moon right now, but it would put it where I'm living. I would be depressed all the time. Okay, I already deal with like my depression, so to speak, because it's depressed energy, and so I have to keep moving. Okay, so Grace, ready? My Aquarian story. I promised I'm back. Okay, so I'm going to say this, and I do have to wrap up in a bit because I'm teaching tonight. Okay, but anyway, so I said to Grace one day, I was looking at stuff, and I'm going, yeah, because I had to go to London for 10 days for business, and I had my hotel room because I love staying in hotels. I'm one of those people. And I had my hotel, and I said, I'm upgrading to a first class ticket, with my miles. And I said, and I have extra miles. If you want to come to London, you can come. I said, all you have to do is kind of pay your own expenses, because, I've got the room, I've got 2 beds. You can certainly bunk up with me, and she was like, okay. Now, in all the years, I've said to people, hey, come with me. I'm going to Turks and Caicos. Oh, come with me. I'm doing this. People are like, oh, I can't. I've got to feed my hamster. Oh, no, I really can't, because, I'm just like, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I've got to cook bacon that day, whatever the excuse is. So I'm like, okay. So I was fully expecting Grace to say, no, I can't go to London, And she went, okay, that's the Aquarian, right? And I said, what? She said, yeah, I'll go. Let me just get the days off work. And I was like, okay. And thus began a very dear friendship where we get to travel together at times. And when she travels with me, it's always a hoot, because she's just turned 30, and she is just wonderful because she goes and does her own thing. I don't have to, I'm not mommy babysit. Do you know what I mean? Like, we go somewhere and she just wanders off. So it's great. She does her own thing. By the way, if anybody, I'll get to that in a minute, Anastasia. I am actually going to go to Germany. I'm going to be at the Frankfurt Book Fair in October, and I'm just traveling there. I also, anybody in LA, anybody in Los Angeles or near Los Angeles, because I'm going to be there and I'm going to be doing an evening with Coast to Coast Radio, you know, Coast to Coast, some of you might. And I'm going to be doing an evening of your intuition and talking about issues around intuition and tapping into yours and all that. And that's going to be at a church in Burbank. It should be really fun. It's going to be a small group. And the tickets, I think, are like $40. If you jump onto, in fact, I'll make sure I put it, it's going to be on my page here. Oh, are you, Jessica, you're in LA? I haven't come to DC in a while. Oh, Jessica, you're in LA? Cool. Otherwise, I wouldn't pick psychic medium off the internet. I know a couple who are very good that, if you message support at Tori Hartman, tell me what you're looking for, and I can refer somebody to you. Winnipeg, Canada. I'd love to live in Canada for a while. I'm talking to my best friend about that. Oh, okay, coming to LA. Yeah, Coast to Coast is great. I had done it a number of years ago, and now the producer, Tommy, has invited me to have, I forget what it's called. It's like the Intuitive Speaker Series. So I'm part of that, and that's going to be July 18th, I think. Actually, if you go on to the Chakra Wisdom Oracle Facebook page, because that's where I post a lot about the, if you go to my Facebook page, the Tori Hartman Facebook page, my public page, on there I put the little, the meme about the event, and you have to email for tickets because they're very limited. So you just email, and I think, like I said, I think it's $40 for the evening. It's like super reasonable. Let's see, I never managed to go for myself in a big city. I don't do well. I can almost get lost in the elevator. Oh my God, Janet, I'm that way with driving. Sandra, sorry that you're at work, but happy that you're working. And I'll see you later. Thank you, love. It's called Tori Time. It's going to have Tori Time. Sandra, I hope you had a great night. Yeah, thank you, Sandra. Australia. That's where I want to go next. I want to go to Australia. Who's coming to Australia? I'll get you a spot on my friend's entrepreneur panel. Oh, that would be great, Melissa. That sounds really fun. I actually like Seattle, but I can't live there. Whole long story. I can't believe, Jessica, you are in LA. You've got to come. Oh my God. It's going to be fun. And I'm going to be at VidCon for the YouTube VideoCon. That's where I'm going for when do I leave? July 9th. I think it starts on the 10th. They have strange rules in Aussie land. Well, we have strange rules too. Let's just get that right out in the open. I need to know about my sister. She's on something. I'm stuck taking care of her kids. I'm going to message you on anyway. Okay. I know. Okay. So so I'm going to be at VidCon if anybody's going to be there. So just, I'm definitely going to be the Just for You Chakra Wisdom Tarot check, and I'm loving learning it. Oh, Christopher, hold on. What did you say? And using it. You should make a trip to Mississippi. You mean MISSISSIPPI? I had to learn to spell that word, Christopher. I'm going to remember you because of that. It was like MISSISSIPPI. And the reason I remembered Mississippi is that what has four eyes and something or other, and I forget. Yeah, I like Mississippi. I actually want to go to the D-Day Museum, and I wanted to go this year, the 75th anniversary, but I had just come back from Europe, and it was like, I was like, sideways and crooky, for a couple days. But I really want to go to New Orleans to see the D-Day Museum, and I definitely want to go to certain places and do events and things like that. But honestly, it's kind of like, how it's outside of your frame of reference. Like, I don't know how to organize those. Like, I know how to do other things, but I need to find somebody that does events or something that I can get help with. The Gulf Coast, Jane, that must be beautiful. Let's see. We have an amazing civil rights museum here. Well, you have to. That's where it started. And Christopher, that's where we ruined families. Don't even start me on that. Okay. Oklahoma. Do you know what's really funny? All unite. I was actually thinking of moving to Oklahoma. Don't laugh, everybody. I had been to, where was I? Gavin's from Tulsa. I think it's Tulsa. Anyway, I went to the downtown area. Fantastic. It was like, here's how I look at this now. It's an adventure, right? So I kind of feel like as I'm getting older, I don't want to nest in. I want to nest out. I want to like go and see things. Now, remember about Capricorn. Capricorn is young when you're old, old when you're young. So the thing to know about Capricorns is I have a moon Capricorn. As we get older, emotionally, I want to do more. It's funny, when I was younger, I was like, I just want to sit here, eat chocolate, and watch Columbo. Now, of course, come on, if you have not watched Columbo, watch some early episodes. It's really interesting. Very famous show in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Let me see. Oh, who's going to care for Owen? I know, Christopher, yeah. Let's see. Yay, Dina, good to see you. And thank you. I'd love to travel in a caravan. Wouldn't that be fun? Oh my gosh, I know, I love Columbo. When I can't sleep, I turn on Columbo and I just go to sleep to it. Somebody asked me something. What was it? Oh, looking after Owen. So Owen had leg surgery a few years ago. I'm telling you, this is like, it's like the old joke of like, missing dog, please help me find my dog. He's missing a leg, missing an eye, missing, has mange, and it answers to the name Lucky. I mean, it's kind of like that kind of joke. But poor Owen, I know Sweet Pea. He's just watching me. Hi, Sweet Pea. Do you want to come here? It's like, not really. Anyway, when Owen had leg surgery, don't even ask. It's like I do more for my dogs, seriously. So he had to have a surgery and for a torn cruciate ligament, and I took him in, and the woman who is the vet tech, she's been there like 10 years. She and I became friendly, and she takes care of Owen and Gavin, and her husband and son are like in love with Gavin. Like they have a huge farm, and Gavin just runs, and she coddles Owen a little bit. And because she's a vet tech, I feel very safe traveling, especially with an older dog that's not 100% well, because I kind of feel like she would know what to do, and I completely implicitly trust her with my pets. The issue, of course, is that she's not cheap. It's kind of a thing, but if I only had Gavin, literally I could leave him anywhere. I could leave him with the person from the supermarket. He's that easygoing. But with Owen, he needs care, and it's just a little bit, oh, what, Angie Holmes? Okay. Oh no, what's happening, Jessica? They love it here for now that Mama is lost in her own mind. What does that mean? I missed that. So yeah, the big news, yeah, exactly. The big news, so people jumping in, is that Owen has cancer. We're gonna get the definitive answer on that. The thing about pets, all right, is pets remind us that life is finite and to have a sense of humor. And they, no matter how we are, they just keep coming back like the Energizer Bunny, right? And, I was saying to somebody that, because I have friends that will never get another pet, because they're kind of like, well, they die, and, and the problem with them dying for me, obviously, is that they're better people than I'm a people. And, but the good die young, right? So I have friends that will never get another pet because of the pain involved, in losing them. And the thing is that I kind of see it as an emotional, spiritual battle scar. And I look at it as, we got to love, and that's huge. So when you get the honor of someone loving you, whoever that is, and that is an honor that they bestow upon you, Why would you trade that for anything in the world? I just don't get it, And I think that they are little miracles for us because they remind us to be decent people. Because I'll tell you what, I remember when I was little, my father was always very sad because he had a lot of PTSD, which we know now from the war. And I remember I brought Jingle home. Jingle was my first dog. And Jingly was just this strange looking rat terrier mix. And my dad was like, no, she can't have a dog. And my mom and I were staying at the country house for the week. And I brought Jingle in. And my dad was like, don't let her bring that dog in the house. And so the week went by, and of course, Jingle had been in the house for the week. And my dad came out to visit. And not visit, but he came for the weekend, and he came out late on a Friday night, and I was already in bed with Jingle. Like we went to sleep. And I must have been 8, 9. Anyway, I remember I was asleep, and my dad came in the door. And Jingle jumped up, and I was like, oh! And then I just was tired. I don't remember much of it. It's just that Jingle jumped down, and I was like, uh-oh. And he went downstairs. And my dad, it was snowing because I remember my father, it was like cold and cold, cold, cold. And my father had come in the door, and he was stomping his boots, and that sound when somebody's stomping the snow and shaking their jacket. And there's Jingle down the stairs, a little tap dance down the stairs, and he gets down the stairs, and you hear my dad go, oh no, oh no, don't look at me. No, I can't look at you. What? All right. And I hear the front door open, and my dad goes outside with Jingle, because he had a little jingle on his collar. Goes outside. And my father walks back in and goes, well, are you coming? And you hear Jingle run in, door closed. And the next day my dad's like, we need to get him a bowl, he can't just eat out of a thing, And I have to tell you, I guess it was about 4 or 5 years later, he was hit by a car, and Jingle died instantly. And it was my mother's fault, which really was kind of a turning point for her. I think that's when her alcoholism just shot through the roof. But I remember my father saying that Jingle brought him the greatest joy he'd had. And I remember looking at him going, Tori, you don't understand about pets. I'm like, I don't understand about pets. Like, you never had one, And he was like, oh, well, yeah. But he said, well, he wormed his way into all our hearts. And I said, Papa, he was your dog. He had become my father's dog. And my father said, yes. And he said, I can't ever do that again. It was too painful. This is a guy that went through war, right? And I remember I had gotten him a dog. I was in college, and I got him a dog, and we had picked one out, and the dog's name was Tiny. And my dad was like, after a couple days, my father was so stressed out, he finally took Tiny back, and Tiny got another home. But almost to the day he died, my dad regretted bringing Tiny back, because he said, when you have the honor like that. And I said, Papa, yeah, you had the honor of this little creature who was going to love you, And that's what I feel like about pets is like, why do we keep them? Why do we love them? Well, because they chose us. They choose us. They choose us. And so it was that was quite a series in my life. That was a time when I always had dogs. Just because I couldn't imagine life without a dog. Like that was just, and I don't think in my whole life, just so you all know, I don't think I've ever been more than 2 or 3 weeks without a dog. And they choose us to teach us spiritual lessons. And I think one of the biggest, I have to say the 5 lessons my dogs have taught me. One is that sitting and waiting for someone isn't the end of the world. That's something that really, I remember, like, going out and coming back, and like hours later, and Gavin was still in the same spot. And I was like, I guess he didn't move. My friend was there, and she said, nope, didn't move. So waiting for other people isn't the worst thing. The second thing is wanting to be with another person is a pure energy. It's not, there's no game with it. And I remember an old boyfriend, we were going to go on a date, and I ran into him in the dog park, and this was when we first started dating, and I barely knew him. And he said, well, I have to go home and feed the dogs. And I said, oh, because he lived a block away. I lived 3 blocks away. And I said, oh, I'll go with you. And we got to his house, and he said, I'm really sorry. You're having to stand here. And I go, no, I like being with you. I want to be with you. And he just looked at me and he said, wow, that's a really nice thing to say. And I was like, is it? But to me, that was something I learned from my dogs. It's like they liked being with me, so they were with me. Because let me tell you something. If a dog or a pet does not want to be with you, they leave. They will run away. They will run into the street way before they'll stay with you. And the other thing is that they don't give up on you. Number 3, they don't give up on you. Pets never give up on you. No matter how much you're crying, how much you're a mess, no matter what's going on in your life, they don't go, I can't listen to this anymore. You've gone on too much about this issue. They sit there and they go on and on and on. And they just listen. And they'll just go like this, and they'll pretend they're listening. And there are times when I think they know exactly what I'm saying. And I've been heard better. I felt heard more often by my pets sometimes than people, And I think there's a deep understanding. It's like when Frank died, I remember he was laying on the bed, and I laid down next to him, and I just looked at him, and he had been dying for a while, and I just said, I think today's your day, buddy. And it was. So, they know when we talk. And the fourth thing is they teach us that we are all intuitive. We have to be. In order to have a pet, you have to understand intuitive language, because even though they can't talk to us and tell us when something's wrong, how many of you admit this? How many of you instantly know then something's wrong with your pet when it happens, right? I mean, come on. I don't know about you, but I know the minute I like sit up. In fact, I had been vibing on cancer for almost 5 or 6 months. And I'm like, do I have cancer or something? Do I have, knock wood, but Owen does. So it was just like I vibed on it. So they really teach us how to be intuitive, and we don't always listen to it. But if we can spend more time around our pets, and the thing, do you know what they love the most? Seriously, they just love when you sit with them. Boy, if people could be like that, right? And before you go, you manimal, the 5th thing that my pets have taught me is that love is real. And there you go, now you can get off to work. And I want to say that love is real, and that's something that all of my pets have taught me. And it's really an honor to be owned by a dog, cat, someone who loves you. And when people say to me, nobody loves me, I said, but you have a dog. Well, this doesn't count. I'm like, I'm sure your dog wouldn't think that. So pets are awesome. You guys are awesome. I'm gonna go. I know. I'm just sad about Owen. I am. And this is kind of my moment to say it. I hadn't really, I don't think I've really kind of, because it's an end of an era. That's the thing about pets, right? So, all right. So what I want to say to all of you is I really appreciate all of you. I'm really glad that I get to be a part of this awesome community that you all have formed, and that I get to participate with you in your life. And I'm just really honored that I get to share with you about my pet, and you kind of know. And that's the biggest, when somebody said, what can we do for you? Especially, with YouTube demonetizing and all this kind of crazy stuff. And I've been challenging it. some they say yes, some they say no. But you know, it's like I just believe that it's going to work out. I just believe it's going to work out because that's what we have to do, right? We just have to kind of go, you know, life is either a problem to be solved or an adventure to be lived. And, you know, my dad said, choose the adventure. You don't always end up at the best place, but you'll find a way out. Thank you for being my blessing tonight, everybody. I'm sending you lots of prayers and love, and I'm going to pull a card for you because, you know, that's what I do. And for people who freak out over cards, it's the time for you to check out. I'm just going to say, okay, let me pull a card and tell you what it means. Okay, I pulled the Star. And the Star is really the greatest honor of recognizing, it's a heart card, because all the green cards, the fourth chakra is your heart, it's Venus. If you think of the planet Venus and you think of what opens our heart, right? And so it's about opening ourselves to love, even in situations, look in the background, that may feel dark. But we have to remember that we are always guided by heaven's light. And that when we are aligned with our higher energy, when we are aligned with the God consciousness, we can never go wrong. And so no matter what gets taken from us, we always see it at the end, and it always has a cycle to it. So the card of the evening that we're leaving with is the fourth chakra of the Star. It's also a major arcana. The major arcana here means that when we look at our heart, when we look at what this is telling us, if you look in the background, there is blue just behind her in the background. That is fifth chakra energy coming in, and that means communication. So communicating the truth of our heart, and that is what I see. Much love to everybody. Have a blessed night, and I will see you all very soon. Bye for now, and thank you, everyone. Much love. And by the way, thanks for the super chat. I'm sorry I didn't say that. Sorry about that. Jennifer, thank you, love. Bye for now.